Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Together. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nasta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavat uttama shloke bhakti bhavati naishtaki. Text 11. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 85. Lord Krishna instructs Vasudeva. Text 11. Bhutanang asi bhutadir Indriyanam chaltai jasaha vaikariko vakalpanam pradhanam anushayanam. Translation? Okay, it's okay. I'll keep my distance, I guess. Translation? You are false ego in the mode of ignorance, which is the source of the physical elements. False ego in the mode of passion, which is the source of the bodily senses. False ego in the mode of goodness, which is the source of the demigods, and the unmanifest, total, material energy, which underlies everything. Did you get all that? Okay, good. Next verse. Nashvareshveha bhaveshu tadasi tvam anashvaram yatadravya vikareshu dravyamatram nirupitam. You are the one indestructible entity among all the destructible things of this world, like the underlying substance that is seen to remain unchanged, while the things made from it undergo transformations. Understood? Good. Sattvam rajas tama iti guṇās tad-vṛttayaś tvayy addhā brahmaṇi pare kalpitā yoga-māyayā sattvam rajas tama iti guṇās tad-vṛttayaś tvayy brahmaṇi pare kalpitā yoga-māyayā sattvam rajas tama iti guṇās tad-vṛttayaś tvayy brahmaṇi pare kalpitā yoga-māyayā sattvam rajas tama iti, known as goodness, passion, and ignorance. Guṇāḥ, the modes of material nature. Tad, there. Vṛttayaḥ, functions. Cha, and. Ya, which. Tvayy, within you. Addhā, manifestly. Brahmaṇi, within the absolute truth. Pare, supreme. Kalpitā, arranged. Yoga-māyayā, by yoga-māyā, the internal potency of the Supreme Lord that facilitates his pastimes. And I could get everyone closer the more, the ring. So translation and purport by the followers of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation: the modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance, together with all their functions, become directly manifest within you, the supreme absolute truth, by the arrangement of your yoga-māyā. We can repeat. The modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance, together with all their functions, become directly manifest within you, the supreme absolute truth, by the arrangement of your yoga-māyā. Purport: Vasudeva's description of how the Supreme Lord expands himself into the products of the three material modes may possibly be misunderstood to imply that he is touched by the modes or even that he is subject to destruction. To negate these misunderstandings, Vasudeva states here that the three modes and their products function by the arrangement of the Lord's creative energy, yoga-māyā, who is always completely under his control. Thus, the Lord is never tainted in the least by any material contact. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, reading so many beautiful pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the 10th canto, is an opportunity to relish the Lord and his personal dealings with his devotees, what to speak of in Braj, with his childhood pastimes, which are considered the most precious, even though Vasudeva and Devaki are the original mother and father. Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda had the wonderful opportunity of experiencing and relishing the pastimes of Krishna and Balaram in their youth, which are considered the most phenomenal. We're having very soon our Kartik festival, every day. I remember Prabhupada instructing that every day all the devotees should offer a lamp to the Lord with devotion, morning and evening, and sing this Damodarastika prayers. By singing the glories of Krishna and his, superhuman activities, it's a reminder that we actually don't belong in this material world, we belong in the spiritual world, but somehow we have a desire to enjoy, and separately to enjoy from Krishna, we come to this material world. But nothing is activated until the Lord expands himself in the form of Mahavishnu and glances at the Mahatattva. He glances at material nature and he impregnates or empowers the living entities to enter or leave the spiritual world and come to this temporary material world. And from Brahma, Lord Shiva, all the demigods, all the living entities in the various higher planets, all the human beings in the middle planetary system, lower planetary system, all forms of life. Why there's so much variety in life? Who can imagine crocodiles and elephants and rhinoceroses and snakes and lizards and ants and poisonous ants and spiders and many, many things. Everything is provided by the Lord to facilitate our desires to enjoy this material world. So Krishna philosophically arranged that Vasudeva would write this Srimad Bhagavat Purana. All the great sages, they came to visit Krishna at Kurukshetra. Krishna Balaram, Vasudeva was also there. And after they performed many wonderful activities, Vasudeva was asking the sages, what should I do to get free of my karma? And they suggested do yagyas, sacrifice. Because it says, without sacrifice, yagya, there's no rain. So somebody's performing a lot of good yagyas. Everyone's chanting so nicely that Krishna is sending beautiful rain so to nourish the crops. Because without rain, there's no grains. Prabhupada sometimes makes a mockery of the atheistic, communistic mentality. They go to the village and tell the people, go to your church and pray to God for bread. They go and pray, dear Lord, give us our daily bread. And they come out of church and the communist friends say, so, did you get your bread? No? Here, take as much as you like. They have a whole truckload of bread. But the foolish people, they say, so who's better, your God or us communists? Oh, you communist brothers, you're much better. But they so foolishly did not consider, where did you get the grains? Where did you get the ingredients to make that bread? So people are foolishly misled to think that technology, science, research, and development of the modern civilization, which is basically express highway to hell, because people are not living by performing sacrifice, by depending on God, tilling the land, living naturally, and what to speak of being equal to all. And every religion says, thou shalt not kill, love thy neighbor, love every living being. When you see a picture of a saintly person, or Lord Jesus Christ, or Krishna, all the living entities are there, and there's love, and there's care. So the point that we're experiencing here is that when we become embodied, we have to deal with past, present, and future. Whereas Krishna, he never changes his body. He's eternally existing. And when Krishna told Arjuna that I spoke this science to the sun god some millions of years ago, although Arjuna knew everything, he would say, hey, we're contemporaries, we're both born the same. How did you do this millions of years ago? Arjuna, you were also present. There never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all of these kings, nor in the future shall we cease to be. But as we're embodied, due to our karma, our past activities, we have a certain mother and father. We take a body, we grow, produce byproducts, we dwindle, and we die. Isn't it? The body goes back to the earth. What's it made of? Earth, water, fire, air, then the subtleties, mind, intelligence, false ego. These are the subtle coverings of the pure spirit soul. But the pure spirit soul is actually servant of Krishna. What's the verse? Jivara swarupoi Krishnera nityadas. Ekale Ishvar Krishna arsa bṛttayaḥ. So Krishna, he's the supreme Lord of everyone and everything, and he's equal to everyone. He doesn't see friends and enemies, but he's giving us an opportunity by creating this material world, which is a small fraction of the spiritual world. In Goloka Vrindavan, Vaikuntha Dham, there's unlimited, liberated, eternally liberated spirit souls. And we're the Nityabada. We've misused, like a person's a free citizen until he breaks the law, right? Then what is he? He's a criminal. Yeah, he was a free citizen, but now he's a criminal. So we are free citizens. We are eternal servants of Krishna. We are Satchidananda Vigraha. Like a drop of the ocean has a salt content, but not compared to the ocean. The same quality, not the same quantity. So all of us, we also have that eternality. We always existed along with Krishna. And the purpose of material existence is so that we can get free of our desires for being born in a prestigious family. Oh, I come from the Rockefeller or Ford or Birla family, wealthy family. There's a certain prestige of being born in a very, and what to speak of having wealth. Persons who are very, very wealthy, they're given the title lords in London, in England. So it's like, if you're very wealthy, they think, oh, this person's successful. He's born in a good family. He's very wealthy. And what to speak of it? He's very, he's very beautiful. People take pride in Mr. America or Mrs. America and the strongest man in the world, number one. Everyone's looking how to be the supreme. And unfortunately, even though one may be born, these are actually pious qualities, to be born in a good family, to have, facility for wealth. Srila Prabhupada gave a little story that when he was only 25 years old, his spiritual master ordered him, you take this message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and spread it all to the Western speaking people. And Prabhupada, he mentioned that he actually had an opportunity to be very wealthy, and he could use this money for printing books and spreading Krishna consciousness in a big way. But Krishna loved Prabhupada so much that he took everything away. He forced Prabhupada, just depend on Guru Krishna, and Krishna empowered. He's always been empowered. Krishna Shakti Vinana Tada Pravartana. That Krishna, he personally comes, he sends his messengers, and the devotees of Krishna who are taking up this process of Krishna consciousness, they're not ordinary people, just like we heard that Nanda Maharaj, Vasudeva, Devaki, the Pandavas, they're not ordinary personalities. They come with the Lord in order to enact pastimes. Just like if a king, or even the other day, I think the president of India came here, and they closed all the roads, and they put rose water and white powder, and they barricaded everybody. Nobody else can move an inch, and make sure there's no coverings and there's no snipers In this way, I'm sure he came with the ministers and anybody who's anybody, the DM and the SSP and all the top policemen. They would come to us, assist in the ceremony of honoring the president. I don't get that kind of reception, that's okay. But the idea is that when Krishna comes, it's out of love. Krishna is the father from everyone. He loves everyone, every one of us, but sometimes the rascal child is given freedom to exercise his belligerent obnoxiousness. sometimes the children can be pretty demanding. I don't know if you had any children, anyone, but you know, when they're small, especially, and even when they get bigger, they can be pretty unagreeable to surrender to the parents' desires, or even if they have a wealthy family, a very comfortable setting, they turn into hippies and live on the street and just try to give up this idea, because they see that even if you're wealthy, still there's no happiness. We heard yesterday in class, if you're super wealthy, we know many wealthy people that they're mainly drunkards, and they really are disgusted with material life, because there's no happiness in this world. Although we're searching for the happiness, we're covered over by the illusion that in the desert there's water. The only time there's water in the desert when there's a good storm. They say, like, it's not Krishna doesn't pick who to give mercy to, like the rain. It's raining on the water, it's raining on the land, it's raining everywhere. So if you want to get it, you get out there and get the rain. The sunshine is also shining for everyone's benefit. But if you stay locked up in your room, you won't get the sunshine. So Krishna is giving us an opportunity to hear of the devotees' loving exchanges with Krishna. And one should not think, oh, I'm a devotee, why there's so much trouble in my life? Just look at Queen Kunti, look at the Pandavas, even Srila Prabhupada. If you read the Lilamrita, what a struggle, what determination, and what endurance Srila Prabhupada had to put up. What to speak of coming to America, the Lower East Side, and there was drunkards everywhere, even in front of his door, that when Swamiji came, they would move out of the way so Swamiji can go in his apartment. And prior to that, his roommate had a drug-induced trip, as they say, or a hallucination, and Prabhupada had to just run away from the apartment. So we're trying to think, well, why is it there's so much suffering even for devotees? But Krishna, he is seeing how we can more take shelter of Krishna. Just like Krishna and the gopis were performing a beautiful relationship when the gopis left home, despite the objection of the parents, despite social customs that there should not be, how you can go out in the middle of the night, Vedic culture was very strict. And then the gopis were so happy to be with Krishna, but then Krishna, he left them, and then he felt immense misery and suffering. But by that suffering, they were thinking about Krishna, enacting his pastimes, talking, even criticizing Krishna, sometimes. And then Srimati Radharani became very fortunate. She had that very intimate relationship with Krishna personally. And then she became tired. She said, oh, Krishna, you can do whatever you want with me, I'm surrendered. And Krishna disappeared again. So we may not understand the activities of how Krishna is endearing us to go back home, back to the spiritual kingdom. It's not, Krishna consciousness is easy if we surrender. Krishna says, sarva dharman parijajam mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami matsuchaha. Just give up all your activities, all your nonsense activities. Surrender to me. And in Bhagavad Gita it says that tad-vṛttayaś pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. You surrender to the spiritual master. And who is the spiritual master? Jare dako tare kaho Krishna upadesha maragai guru hoy tare desh. One who repeats the words of Krishna. We don't make up our own philosophy or just get followers for our own purposes. This is not, I think when they take their vows for becoming guru, that on behalf of my spiritual master, on behalf of Krishna, I'm accepting persons who are interested in taking up devotional spiritual life. And Prabhupada wanted that we, all his followers, to become guru. In one way, parents are gurus. Anyone who's taken up Krishna consciousness, who has shraddha, who has faith, and who keeps the association of devotees, then anartha nivritti. All the bad qualities, all the bad habits are being dissolved automatically. Even though we may have many desires, many disqualifications for becoming devotees, devotee is a very high level. It's not easy to think, oh, I'm a devotee. You know, I shave my head, I got neck beads, I got the dhoti. May not be right, you know, properly fitted or whatever. But it's not an external show, just like to join a club. I joined the Hare Krishna club. I have a guru. I'm okay. But real dedication and devotion, Prabhupada showed by his personal example and his expectation that Prabhupada, he made the morning program in such a way that, first of all, introducing deity worship. Prabhupada personally installed deities all over the world. And what to speak of training the devotees how to dress properly, how to keep clean, how to offer worship and puja, how to perform sacrifice, and even Prabhupada performed marriages because he didn't want boys and girls to be together, boyfriend, girlfriend, and because these are the basic knots, the basic ropes that keep us tied to this world, the desire to enjoy sense gratification, family, my nation, become wealthy. You'll become happy if you work hard your whole life. By the time you're old, you have a big bank account, then you can enjoy life. How you can enjoy life when you're an old man? Can't even walk up the stairs hardly, isn't it? Yeah, the real happiness comes by serving Krishna and trying to spread Krishna consciousness. So Vasudeva, he was instructed by the great sages, but the great sages were glorifying Krishna and Balaram, that being the supreme personality of Godhead and the creator of everything, Krishna creates goodness, passion, and ignorance. Because those who are grossly materialistic, he keeps them in ignorance so that you can, because the spirit soul is naturally in love with Krishna, but it's covered over, and we're covered, and we're forced, like if one wants to taste stool, Krishna gives you a pig body. Here, the tongue is right, the snout is right, everything. You can, if you want to live in a filthy place, here's a pig body. And if you want to eat meat, give you a nice tiger, lion's body, you can jump and tear apart your meal. But in the human form of life, one should inquire, who am I? Why am I forced to suffer in this material world? And what is the suffering? What are the four miseries of life? Janma, mrityu, jara, dukkha, doshan, birth, old age, disease, and death. It comes fast, right? Birth. Oh, how nice, beautiful child. And everybody's cuddling. Oh, you're so nice. Look how beautiful the kids are. They're lovely, and their voice is so sweet. And aren't they adorable? But then immediately they grow, and everyone is under the impression that, okay, let me get a good education. Let me go to the best institute for science and technology and college. And this way, I'll get a very good job, very good income, and then I'm sure I'll get a good mate because I'm so successful. If you have a nice car and you have nice clothes and you have a nice house and big bank accounts, you're bound to get a good wife, right? They'll be interested. But ultimately, unless these are all zeros, everything in this world is this big zero, but when you put Krishna in front, you get 10, 100, 1,000, 100,000, millions. And then you can use everything in Krishna's service. We don't renounce anything. We use everything in Krishna's service. The family's engaged in Krishna's service. You're working whatever profession, whatever your aptitude, whatever you're good at. Use it for Krishna's pleasure, for spreading Krishna consciousness. When Prabhupada, with his early disciples, he saw these are young, they're really not that experienced in life, but still he sends these young couples to London, to Africa, to Australia, all over the world, and sannyasis and different devotees on the order of Srila Prabhupada were empowered because they had faith, and they were excited that by following this process of Krishna consciousness, I can awaken my eternal life. No more karma, no more old age, no more disease, no more death. Who's offering that? You don't have an opportunity in this material for such a end result of your endeavor. So we want to endeavor to become Krishna conscious. And neha vikramo nashasti pratyavaya navidyate swapamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahatobhaya. Our sound man, he knows all the shlokas. I always see whoever's quoting a shloka, he's also chanting too. That's a good sound man, one who knows the shlokas. But shlokas are important. When we were beginning in Krishna consciousness, we always had index cards. You write the shloka down, you study it, because these are very powerful verses. We may not know the language. I'm not Sanskrit scholar. What's the use? No, but by hearing, manmana bhakto madhyaji man namaskarum mami vaisasi satyate pratijani priyosva. Think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your prayers to me, thus you'll come to me without fail. I promise you this, because you're my very dear friend. And Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, throughout the Bhagavatam, one famous verse that, Teshang satati yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. I didn't hear you chanting that one. Did you know that one? Yeah. If we have faith in Krishna, Krishna will give us intelligence. Krishna will reciprocate. Not only is Krishna everywhere, he says he creates the whole world. He's in every atom. He's in sarvasya chahang hridi sanavishto matasmriti jnanam apohanam cha. He's in the heart of every living being. He's giving knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness according to our desire. We want to be happy, but Krishna's telling us that there's no happiness in this world. What's that sloka? From the highest planet down to the lowest? Mamu pecha punarjama vikalyam shashtata. Abrahma bhuvanaloka punaravartano arjuna. That from the highest planet in this world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. And this is the problem. We're forced to die. But that's not our nature. We are eternal. We're Satchidananda. But we're encaged. Isn't it? It sounds like a cruel term, like when you see circus animals, they're encaged. Sometimes the circus animals, they turn on their trainers, So we're encaged with this gross body, and we have a subtle body, the mind, the intelligence, and the ego. Sometimes someone is not qualified to have a human body, and they end up as ghosts. You've heard of ghosts, but they're very frustrated. They have the desires, they have mind, they have intelligence and ego, but no gross body. Sometimes they possess people who are in the mode of ignorance. And in this way, everything is provided for in this world by Krishna, and we may not understand the activities, but by understanding the appearance of janma karma chame divyang evam yo viti tattvatah yakvadeham punarjama naiti mameti. So Arjuna, if we understand Krishna's activities according to the orders of our Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada said we should read Srimad Bhagavatam 24 hours a day. Can you imagine? 24 hours a day we should be hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. You think, how is that possible? Okay, at least every day hear the Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita. And yesterday there was an emphasis on seva, service. Because without service, what are you reading? What are you chanting? We're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. My dear Lord, I've fallen into this ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and engage me as one of your servants. See? Krishna's angry. We're not serving. We have to serve Krishna. And how do we serve Krishna? By helping the spiritual master. Garga Muni Prabhu, he's here also, Garga Muni. And he was telling a story that Prabhupada, you're doing everything for us. You're cooking and you're giving us classes and teaching everything. What can we do for you? And Prabhupada said, generally the disciple's duty is to assist the spiritual master in his mission of spreading Krishna consciousness, in his work of spreading Krishna consciousness. And Garga Muni said, work? He's a spiritual teacher. What kind of work? He couldn't figure out. Then he thought, he was walking on the street and he saw a little recorder called a dictaphone. Back in the 60s, that wasn't so popular. But he thought, he asked the storekeeper, is this good? What is this used for? He said, well, doctors and lawyers take notes. He said, I have someone who's writing books. Would that be good for someone writing books? He said, oh, yes, that would be really good. So Garga Muni was excited. He brought back this dictaphone and thought, I'm going to show Prabhupada how to use this dictaphone. He's from a village. It took me an hour instruction from the owner. He goes, Prabhupada, there's an owner's manual here. And Prabhupada said, that's okay. And he immediately understood how to use this dictaphone. And Garga Muni was amazed. He said, this is not a human being. This is like a person from another planet. Vaikuntha, from Goloka Vrindavan, Prabhupada's come. Srila Prabhupada ki. So immediately Srila Prabhupada, instead of typing because Prabhupada wasn't really a typist, but he would type, he had so much manuscript, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion. So Nectar of Devotion was printed early on. He also said, you should read the Nectar of Devotion. Read it again, and read it again, and read it again. Because actually all these loving exchanges and understanding the mood of serving Krishna and what the gopis love for Krishna, a lot of that is described in the Nectar of Devotion, which is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. So at any rate, Garga Muni was telling the story. They thought, boy, now we're having so many recordings, and we can't afford them because we're very poor. No one knew how to type or how to use the dictaphone. He said, because we're all hippies, we can't coordinate these things. So there's one person, I forgot his name, I think Larry. He had to do a 3-month sabbatical with a religious organization. So he thought, well, I'll do it with the Hare Krishnas. And they said, oh, okay, do you know how to type? He goes, yeah, I know how to type. He goes, do you know how to use the dictaphone? He goes, that's easy. And they're watching him with his foot pedal, listening to the tapes and moving very, very smoothly. And immediately, Krishna sent someone to dictaphone. Now someone's typing the manuscripts. And even though it was the early stages of Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada wanted them to record every lecture. Because what the spiritual master is saying is the words of Krishna. When Prabhupada, we heard from Srila Kirti, when he would be alone in his room, he'd read his books. He'd sit and do kirtan. He'd read his own books. And Prabhupada would express, these are not my books. These are Krishna's words. So when Srila Prabhupada is up at midnight, while some of us are resting, he's translating, taking from the great Acharya's purports, and systematically, methodically, with inspiration and empowerment from Krishna, giving us guidance how to get out of this cycle of birth and death, the suffering of material life. There's no other hope. There's no other society. Every religion is teaching the same thing. We have to learn how to love God. We're not saying that, that we have to give up this religion and that religion, but every religion means that who am I, who is God, and what is my service, and how to achieve that relationship. Prayodhya, Abhideya, yes, that one. Yes. So just learning about Krishna consciousness, and Krishna will reveal very quickly according to our enthusiasm and determination. Who was Dhruva Maharaj? A little boy. He had a big aspiration, having a kingdom like his father, greater than his father's kingdom. That means a little boy. How old are you? 6? Like that, little Dhruva there. So imagine the mother says, well, you have to worship and pray to God. Where's God? He's in the forest. So Dhruva comes to Madhuvan. And then Narada Muni says, no, you're too young. Why you want to be so serious? Go home, enjoy. When you get older, you'll meditate and perform yajna. And Dhruva said, no, I'm not interested. I want, if you can help me, I'll listen to you. So Narada gave in. Oh, he gave him which mantra? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And he performed great austerity, Dhruva Maharaj. Austerity that most people cannot perform. But the austerities are performed so they get completely off the bodily platform. And after just 6 months' time, Dhruva Maharaj could realize the Lord, Paramatma, in the heart. He actually saw the Lord manifest. But then all of a sudden the Lord disappeared and he opened his eyes and there was Krishna in front of him. That's a great, not a story, this is a reality. Krishna reveals himself. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Roy, many leelas and pastimes are there when Krishna personally reveals himself. Of course, you need the eyes to see Krishna because Krishna is not visible for the mundaners, materialists. But Krishna personally comes in his form as Krishna and Balaram, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but by this Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, by serving Krishna with love, Krishna empowers us to be able to see him. Not only see him, but worship him and pray for him. So Dhruva Maharaj achieved complete perfection in a very, relatively speaking, short time because of his intensity. Prabhupada said, there's one ingredient. What's the most important ingredient for advancing in Krishna consciousness? He says, lolyam, intense desire to have this Krishna bhakti. This is why Rupa Goswami in his Upadeshamrita says, utsaha nishchayat kariyat tad karma pravartanat. Enthusiasm, determination, patience, isn't it? We need patience. We should not think, well, I've been chanting Hare Krishna for several days now, I still have not seen Krishna or realized. Krishna gives a taste, a gyata sukriti, or some special flavor. I've seen some of the bhaktas, they're jumping 10 feet up in the air and they're very enthusiastic. But that's good, it's important. But after some time, we need to support that with Bhagavatam, with chanting the Maha Mantra, and doing seva, doing service, being eager to serve. I remember in Naimisharanya in Miami, we did the full morning program. There's no question of someone missing the program. Everyone had to be there, unless you're on a deathbed or in the hospital. But I've seen sometimes nowadays people I'm sick, 3 days, 5 days. I don't know, maybe they should go to a hospital. But the idea is that, anyway, we should come to the full program, carry it out, and then it was after Prashad, I knew the service time for new bhaktas was from 10 to 5, and Madan Mohan was our temple commander, so where's the temple commander? I'm ready. Imagine if a devotee is enthusiastic for service. You need some pots washed, or you want me to clean, you want me to go out and do book distribution, whatever. Not that they even suggest. The idea of a servant, what is a servant? Everyone knows, what is a servant? Hey, make some this, do this, clean that, provide. So, not in a derogatory way or in a bad way, if one is a servant of a very important, powerful person, he also gets to ride in a nice car, he also gets to live in a nice facility, he also gets to eat palatable foodstuffs and is taken care of by a genuine, so Krishna is the most important, the most powerful person. So to be a servant of Krishna's servant, you get, the das, anu das, that we want to become servant of Krishna, that mentality is very important. Not that we're the master, that, oh, you want to do this? No, I want to do, no, it's not a question. Imagine, you say, Dharma, do this. No, I would rather do this. And say, okay, whatever. So when someone is in a mentality to serve Krishna, Krishna's happy by that. And the Guru will give you blessings. And I see I'm running out of time. So this is the whole Krishna Leela in 10th canto. The sages performed in Vasudeva and Krishna. But every page is so full of direction and inspiration that it'll help us to really take the layers of passion, goodness, and ignorance, come above the modes of nature, and come to Vishuddha Sattva, pure goodness, Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Anyone have any questions, comments? We have a few minutes. Thank you, sir. I'm not sitting there. I can't ask myself a question.
They don't realize quite often how fortunate they are now. In the old days, like I'm going back to South Africa tomorrow, and when I first went, I went with the Swami, but he left me alone. So I'm hiding from security police, trying to get interest going. And today you come, and I notice that the Mangal Arti begins every morning. It's there, they open the curtains, it's all available. But people don't understand how much work went into these things.
The pioneers of Krishna consciousness, it's just unimaginable how much faith you have to be penniless in a foreign place and to try to spread Krishna consciousness. Imagine how strange it must have been for people to see a bald-headed, orange-robed person in his pajamas trying to convince, with a little tail in the back, trying to convince you that they have the solution to all of life's problems. You think, this guy escaped from a mental institution, isn't he? So that, it was, I have to give credit to the devotees who sacrificed, and are still sacrificing. All of you are sacrificing your so-called life in the material world to take up Krishna consciousness. You want to say something more?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So, this text talks about false ego in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So, passion and ignorance to some extent we can understand, but what is false ego in the mode of goodness?
Oh, I'm a scholar, I'm a philosopher, I eat natural food, I'm better than other people. In one sense that although one is not with the base qualities of ignorance, meaning like a drunkard or is living filthy situation, or passionately running after the money, success, fame, and the mode of passion. Everybody's working hard, driving their buses and trucks this way, that way, and everyone's passionately running from early morning to late at night to accumulate money. Mode of goodness is more introspective, not still on the spiritual platform, but reading books, philosophy, living a more holistic lifestyle, but sometimes thinking oneself better than others on that level. So that's why we need to come to the Vishuddha Sattva. Goodness is good. It's conducive towards spiritual life, but unless that goodness is applied to bhakti or devotional practices, it remains in the modes of nature. You need to come above the modes in the form of Vishuddha Sattva. Everyone's okay? Good? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.